All right, guys, we're back with another episode of Story Outsis. I am Pierre.
And I'm Chris.
All right, and this will be Depression Part 3, which is the final part of the 3-part. All right,
Yes, sir.
So the last two poets will be R.J. Walker, My Mother Explains My Depression to Me, and Sabrina Benaim, Explaining My Depression to My Mother. I chose the last two for them to be last, of course, because these two poets are not only dealing with a depression, but there's another struggle at home with explaining their depression to their mother. And it's basically double trouble. So for that reason, I was like, this is a stronger toll. And for that, I thought it was fitting to save it for last. That's about it. Christian, what do you have to say before we get into RJ?
This is the 5th time that we are recording this. Oh my God, bro. We can't do a 6th, right? I don't know if I have it in me. I don't know if I have it in me. All right, so let's make this the definitive final part to Depression Part 3.
No crazy shit. No more tech issues. Tangent. I saw this filter, this picture. That was like when you see a good, nice picture from a girl, what you don't see are the 1,000 deleted ones that didn't fit or something. It's basically what's happening with us right now. But they don't see the first 2 hours. Anyway, let's go.
Okay, pressing play now.
My mother explains my depression to me. After Sabrina Benaim. There was a great storm at sea. The disciples were afraid the ship would get swallowed up. Now read what Jesus said. Read it. He said, "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. "See," she says, "see, don't you feel better?" And she does not know that I tried to drown myself accidentally on purpose for the 2nd time today, but that is just too much to say. So instead I say, no, I am not Jesus, and I have depression, not a storm. And she says, we all know doctors just make that up in order to sell pills. We all know that you just made this whole thing up to get out of going on your church mission. You don't have depression. You just don't have enough faith. Read what it says about the 2 men possessed with devils, they say.
Okay, great. So what's happening here, right? Obviously, a religious household. And the mother's convinced that his depression, his current disease that he's struggling with, can be solved with the Bible, faith, to be more specific. What she's referring to was a story in the Bible. The disciples were afraid on the ship, like at sea, the great storm at sea. It was basically Jesus was sleeping. There was a great storm. Like they woke him up. Jesus got up, assessed the situation. I think he placated the sea once, went back to sleep. The storm came back. They woke Jesus up again, and he did the same thing and told them, you guys have little faith, as in you're with me, you believe in me, therefore you should be able to summon calmness upon this storm. So the mother's alluding to that to basically let RJ know that, hey, this is just your faith, your lack of faith. You don't believe enough. Like read the scriptures, see, look what Jesus says. We can get through this, and you can get over whatever you think this is. And he's like, no, Mom, I have depression, not a storm. Now, not a storm, right? Because a storm can go, or a storm was able to be casted out and the sea was able to get like nice, but this is worse. This is depression. This is not in my control, and this is crazier. And then she flips it again and saying, not only what you're going through, we can solve it with faith, with Jesus. B, make this even worse, this shit doesn't even exist. Like we all know doctors just make this shit up to sell pills. Like we know that you're just trying to do this to get out of your church mission. You don't have depression. You just don't have enough faith. Like it's drastically changed. Like she literally just belittled this man's condition and accentuated again on the Bible. Like read. And then she took him to another passage or story in the Bible where there are 2 guys that are possessed that Jesus happened to come across, and he chased the demons away from them and sent them on like pigs. Pigs ended up like running over a cliff and drowned, I think. That's what she alluded to. So basically just telling my boy, like, nah, bro, you're not depressed. Like that's like you think you're depressed. This is not depression. We can fix this. We can fix this with religion. We can fix this with the Bible, which is crazy. But yeah, that's what's happening so far. What do you want to say, Christian?
Yeah, so I lack some of the religious context that's needed to understand a lot of the parallels that are made in this poem. But you are a lot more knowledgeable on that subject than I am. So you'll help like shore up my weaknesses in this poem. Um, but later on at the end, I tried since I lack so much context, I tried to view this poem at a little more of an unconventional angle, and I'll talk more about that like at the very end of the poem. So yeah,
Okay. All right, let's do it.
all right, pressing
If
play
thou cast
now.
us out, suffer us to go into the herd of swine. And Jesus says, go, and sends them into the swine, and they drown, they drowned. That's why it's okay. And she holds my head underwater and says, because it wasn't you, you got a devil in you. And so we get it out, and you can stop with all that limping and storming yourself to death and go back on your mission to teach them people in Texas about the Jesus who saved you from the devil you got in you. Yeah, it's the truth, the truth. I know it to be true. The truth is a drowned pig, a ship at sea. You are his tool, RJ. Jesus doesn't let his tools rust, not like your father, because we all know I didn't give this to you, this sad boy
All right,
disease that
pause.
you made up.
Make this even more worse. Like A was, yeah, we can kick this out. B was, you don't even have this. Now C, fuck that. You have the devil in you. So we need to take this shit out. We need to extract this so you can go back on your mission on like serving the Lord and to the people in Texas and I guess to preach basically. Yes. Like this sad boy disease that like you made up. Well, he's about to say that actually. He didn't say that yet. Like, yeah, we all know this is some disease. This is like not true. We need to take this out. Like, you didn't get this from me. That's another even thing. Like, I'm fine on my end. This is definitely not from my end. Like, you're basically reminding me right now, alluding to his father, who was like probably a drunk and an alcoholic, because she mentioned like drinking alcohol. Like, that's why I had to divorce myself from that. And you see how much good that did for me. And then this lady is hurting this man so much with these words, but she's not understanding because that's one thing, right? Like, unfortunately, the older generation, there's a way they were brought up that you don't even know if you're hurting like someone because that's what you were taught. She was probably raised in a very religious household that she went by those, and those were her codes basically that she lived by. So therefore, that transpired over to her own family when she ended up having one. So to her, she's helping this kid, who's not even a kid, a grown man, but now she's basically getting aggressive because she's losing patience. Like, fuck that. You don't have faith. I'll do it. I'll try to do this shit myself. I'll like scream it out. I'll take it out. This devil that you have, I need to take it out of you right now. Completely misconstruing the situation. That's not the case at all. He has depression, and it's crazy. I on one of our first four takes, right? Like I mentioned how there's so many kids. I'm from Haiti. Like there's so many kids that diseases that are not diagnosed or parents who don't know much because technology is like much the medical field is much more limited in a poorer country. Like kids that are getting punished for like not being able to read right, thinking they're not paying attention, but they're actually dyslexic. Like kids that can't sit
Mm-hmm.
still, that are always moving, that their parents are like, you're basically a bad kid, but that actually have ADHD. There's just like so much that some parents don't even know about, which partially is not on them because to them these things don't exist because it didn't during their time. And of course they did, they just never were diagnosed. And for that reason, they carried these things over. So now this mom is convinced homeboy is making this shit up when it's not even the case. Like he actually is depressed, but she doesn't know that.
Mm. Yeah, that's when you said that, it made me think of this. There's these three types of I forget, someone much smarter than me said this, but I forget like what these three things were categorized. But basically, he said that there's three things. There's the known knowns, so there's things that we know we know. There's the known unknowns, which are things that we know we don't know, and then there's the unknown unknowns. So that's things that we don't even know we don't know.
Yeah.
And in this case, the mother, the depression to her is like a mixed bag of like the unknown unknowns. And when you find yourself dealing with an unknown unknown, it can be hard to just understand where somebody else is coming from.
Right.
So, but yeah, yeah.
Crazy
All
shit,
right.
man. All right.
Let's go. Pressing play.
The devil you got in you with his cigarettes and Corona, and so we're gonna divorce this devil out of you. Yeah, it worked for me, and I say, I don't want to be Jesus' drowned pig. I say, I want to die but fail, to want myself to death, but she comes close when she says, you will go back on your mission, you will fulfill your purpose, kill the parts of yourself that are yourself, and I say, I'm trying, and she says, you are the Antichrist. Jesus said so. Keep reading, look what he says. He says, your son is a broken ship at sea, and he keeps trying to scuttle himself because he hates me, he hates God, he hates you. How could you do this to me after everything I've done? I taught you how to be a blade, so why are you cutting yourself?
Right. This is taking even a worse turn. Now, now this is almost like my boy is being guilt tripped now. Which is the different turns that this poem takes. I feel for him because this must come from a place of truth. Like, I mean, I don't know any of these poets, their lives or personally, but like you can see the emotion in their words. Like this like situation is getting exacerbated to such a crazy extent that I wouldn't even be shocked if this ended in suicide. He's still alive. He's just doing this poem, so he didn't kill himself. But it's like the pressure, being misunderstood, misjudged, now accused Christian, and then now guilt tripped. Like it's like how dare you kill the parts of yourself that are yourself? Like read, look at this. Jesus said you're a broken ship at sea, you know? Like I taught you to be a blade. Like why are you cutting yourself? How dare you kill Jesus, which you're killing? He died for your death, so you cannot die. So like how dare you are out here just depressed and on the brink of basically like suicide because you're depressed, like you're down, like you don't have the privilege to be down because the person who already died for your sin did that and gave you that privilege, that second shot at life. So for that reason, I'm not going to let you waste it. Like how dare you sit here and wallow in this fake state, which is completely real. He's depressed. It's I don't know. It's crazy, and she just keep drilling, and then she make this about her. You know, you're not gonna do this to me. Like I brought you in this world. No, I taught you to be a blade. How dare you're cutting yourself? Like you mentioned in the first 4 takes of this, right? That actually I'll let you explain that one. Your explanation made sense, actually, Christian. Well, it didn't. Like when I thought back about it, I like your analogy, the way you interpreted that line. How dare you? I thought you'd be a knife. How dare you cut yourself? Yeah. So
Right. Yeah, I interpreted that as like I taught you to be strong, so why are you here being weak?
uh-huh.
How'd you
Yeah.
interpret it?
Yeah, I what was it before? Like I gave you religion, but now you're letting yourself go without using that weapon that can bring you back, which I gave you. I'm not wording this properly. As in, you were raised in a religious household. I gave you your Bible. You know, I probably gave you the 10 Commandments. Like those were your values that are instilled in you to make you strong, which correlates with everything you just said, to make you strong. But now you're letting the devil win. You're letting him into your vessel, a vessel that I've molded into the house of the Lord. So how dare you let that happen? And that's what I thought. But the strength and weakness sounded better and make more sense when I rethought about it earlier today. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Homeboys is getting verbally harassed. And it's coming so fast. And she can't even stop and pause herself to be like, whoa, what am I doing? You know, that's insane. Like my baby boy needs me. I mean, he's a grown man, but still. But she doesn't know any better, man. Crazy shit. All right.
Okay. Here we go.
How dare you hurt me with your hurt? How dare you kill Jesus with your killing? He died your death to death, and now you can't die, so you can't get away. And I say, in the voice of all my suicide attempts, each one a pig, a shipwreck, drowned at sea. What have we to do with thee, O Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? And she hands me the whole violent ocean and says, go then, you vile thing. I will not have you in this home that is not your home. I will not have you die in this coffin that is your room, because it was never your room. All this was mine. It was mine, and I gave it to you. Wretched beast, I cannot bear the sight of you, my son, who has eaten my son and wears his bones. I take back my motherhood and give you stones. Now go forth into the swines and drown. Go! And she waits for me to respond. But I have too much to say. Yet I manage to say it all in a single word. Goodbye.
So I want to make sure that we at least touch on this because in our previous recordings, you said something that I thought was rather profound about the about about the line where he says, "My son who has eaten my son." Uh, do you remember specifically what you said? It was something about how, and maybe you were gonna talk about this anyway, but like the devil was inside of her house, and she was recognizing that this is the devil, not her
Mm-hmm.
son. Like the devil ate
Well,
her son.
pretty much,
Do
yeah. Like
you?
you're just, yeah. I was gonna get to that. This was like the last
Okay.
stage of this. Because yeah, first it was like like to go through the ones that I can remember, right? Like, hey, we can deal with this if we have more faith. B, this is actually made up. This doesn't exist. Like C, look closer. Go back to the Bible. Like like Jesus said this shit should never happen. Like D, how dare you? Like how dare you do this? Like this is not real. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to Jesus? And then fucking the final blow, get the fuck out of my house. You've obviously been possessed. You've obviously made your bed. This is just a shell. I take back motherhood and give you stones. Like,
Mm,
bro, fuck. Like, I'm not even, no. Like, don't call me mom. Like, you're not my, like, son. Like, you're not my, what's the word? What's the noun that I'm looking for here? I guess my blood. Sure, you're not my blood or some shit like that, right? Like, go away. Like, leave if you're choosing. Like, she's literally like, okay, you know what? That's it. I've had enough. This obviously is not working. And he's like begging, like he's saying things that if she would stop during this event, she'd be like, oh my goodness, like my boy is actually going through some shit. Like for your boy to be crying, I want to die, but fail to want myself to death. Kill the parts of yourself that are yourself. I'm trying. In the middle of all this, you'd be like, oh shit, okay, maybe I'm hurting my boy, but it's just blow after blow. To be like, you know what, fuck it, just leave. You wretched beast, I cannot bear the sight of you. She's literally talking to a demon, which is correlating to what
mm,
Jesus did when he extracted the demons out of the two guys and sent them on the pigs, which is basically what she just did, but to her son. To her, she's doing the right thing. Like to her, she's literally doing the right thing. In her head, I try to purify this boy as much as I could. I try to bring him back to the Lord, but he has made his choice. So for that reason, leave. Like leave this coffin. That's not your room. This is my house. I gave you. The coffin can literally be like his room, physical room in the house, or like his body, like your body, like the shell. Like live this. That's not your room. Like you've obviously possessed my son. So go. Like she's talking to the demon. Like go, you wretched beast. Like go forth into the swines and drown, which is what happened to the pigs. That Jesus, when he sent the demons on the pigs, it's just like this woman thinks she's executing an exorcism right now. Exorcism, is that what people say? Is that the right way to say
exorcism.
it?
Yeah.
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 Like damn. But what she doesn't know is she's handing the keys of death to her son. The
Mm,
disconnect is so sad. Just like if there's a part two to this, he killed himself. Like ah, it's insane, man. It's insane. But then again, that's what we talk about. That's why I said earlier, the disconnect, man. The parents who don't know any better, who things that didn't have names to them back then that weren't diagnosed. Like depression is just a random stage in life that people just deal with, is what they
mm,
probably thought back then, still do to this day. Like this is such like a taboo topic, like that's why Neil brought it up and you can't be depressed. Like Aaron Rodgers, everyone knows is depressed, yet nobody tells a celebrity, how can I help you? But people are aware, he has bags in their eyes, like he has not been sleeping. Like he went very vivid in the characteristics to determine that this person's suffering from depression, but nobody does anything. Or like Reagan Myers says, like it might as well have been a cold because there's a whole genre of food dedicated to cold. There's more sympathy that comes with cold. Like, hey, you have a cold, take some day off. You can't call off for depression. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's some shit we really need to bring more awareness to. But yeah, that's
mm.
RJ Walker. My mother explains my depression to me.
Yeah. And so earlier we touched on this idea of unknown unknowns a little, right? So and then I mentioned that I was going to try to take an unconventional view of this poem. So, so throughout the history of mankind, there were many mysteries that were just explained by acts of God, right? Like explaining the unknown with another unknown.
Yeah.
And so thunder, that was, said to be the roar of an angry deity. Waves, they were supposed to be the breath of the sea god. Earthquakes, it was thought to be like an angry dragon that was thrashing around beneath the earth. So people explained fear and things that they didn't have an answer to with religion, spirituality, and mythology.
Hmm.
So I think to have someone try and smother something that is as nuanced and mysterious and layered as depression with a form of logic that's heavily and aggressively based in the idea of like a higher power, God in this case. I think it's a callback to this instinct within us to explain the unknown with the unknown. So his mom, when challenged with the unknown of depression and made to explain it, she defaults to that instinct. And then perhaps within that unknown, she found a deep fear, which evolved into an anger that led her to assaulting Walker with biblical imagery,
Yeah.
religious practices,
Right.
stories, and as you mentioned before as well, guilting him through religion, and then personal insults as well,
Right.
with a touch of selfishness thrown in there as well.
Yeah.
So,
Right?
yeah,
How dare you do this to me? It's
right.
like, lady, I'm the one in pain.
Yeah,
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. All right.
It really, really, really good poem. He did some nice lyricism in there as well. Like the way he
Ooh.
was playing with the words was
Uh-huh.
subtle, yet it was very clever, and
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. You mentioned some of the lines too. Um,
The
yeah,
broken ship and swine reference, like he gave back to you the storm. Like, yeah, he made that into a metaphor a bunch of times. It was cool.
yep,
I
hmm
made you into a blade while you kill yourself. That's just fucking
yep.
poetry, man. But yeah,
It
man, this is
is.
RJ. We're gonna touch up on RJ again. Actually, there's a guilt theme. The seat and I. Oh man, when we get to that, RJ is good. Actually, man, all these guys and gals are fucking great, man. Christian, there's not one poem in that on that long list on that Google Docs that we're gonna get through that's not fire to me. That's subjective. All right, Christian, let's get through explaining my depression to my mother. Now, all these categories, I choose poets, and poems that I think fits them. Within these categories, there are people that I think, actually, no, they all body it. Because Sabrina was the first one I was introduced to. Like, explaining my depression to my mother is such a famous poem that's why I saved it for last. Even when that's why I heard RJ's, I was like, okay, there are two people that are not only fighting depression, but they
He got
also
10
are
million
misconstrued.
views. Super
10
popular.
million? No, I got
Yeah,
373,000 likes, Christian. It's and oh, or the
I'm talking about the view count.
oh yeah, mm, yeah. No, it's crazy, man.
10
This
million for
is
a poem is that's an
this.
anomaly.
No, yes, that actually is. That actually is. No, that poem is known. That poem is known through the afterlife and shit. Afterlife. It's crazy stuff, man. In Asgard, they know that poem, Christian. Man. Okay, that's more of a reference, but it is what it is. All right. Let's wrap this up. Miss Sabrina
All
Benaim.
right, pressing play now.
Explaining my depression to my mother, a conversation. Mom, my depression is a shapeshifter. One day it is as small as a firefly in the palm of a bear. The next, it's the bear. On those days, I play dead until the bear leaves me alone. I call the bad days the dark days. Mom says try lighting candles. When I see a candle, I see the flesh of a church, the flicker of a flame, sparks of a memory younger than noon. I am standing beside her open casket. It is the moment I learn every person I ever come to know will someday die. Besides, Mom, I'm not afraid of the dark. Perhaps that's part of the problem. Mom says I thought the problem was that you can't get out of bed. I
Pause.
can't.
Okay. So, we're getting metaphors. Depression's a shapeshifter, Christian. Like, it's some days it's small as a firefly. The next day it's as big as a bear. On those days, I play dead until the bear leaves me alone, Christian. Like, it's like, picture getting beaten and covering your head and getting in the fetal position and be like, please stop. Like, please go away. Like, I play dead until the bear leaves me alone. Like, this thing is trapping me from all sides. I call the bad days the dark days. And there's hella dark days, of course. Like, try lighting candles, like candles correlates to a church, a flicker of a flame. That's a nice memory. A memory younger than noon, that's far out. I'm standing beside her open casket. Like, these days are over. Like, these days are dead. Those good days, because I don't have them anymore. Casket, funeral, death. I'm reminded, oh shit, everyone I know will die someday. The depression is so deep that any thought that I can try to bring to my head to sprinkle some positivity to get me in a better mood just draw me right back to that. It's crazy. It's like in our other poem that we did, right? The slow now. It's like little words of affirmation. Like, I'm brushing my teeth. I look good today. Check. I put this on. I like how this feels. Check. I only hit snooze once, not twice. Check. As in, the depression is so deep that I'm looking for anything that I can to make my day, because any inconvenience is a huge inconvenience, like Regan Myers said. So for that reason, is whatever I can find. But there's nothing to find in this poem. It's just that deep. Like, homegirl's in the deepest stage right now. She's in the sunken place. Mom, I'm not afraid of the dark. Perhaps that's part of the problem. She's been there for so long, Christian, that this is the new normal. Like, it's like they say prisoners that are put in solitary, it gets to a point where they can't live with people. They go insane, of course. Like, the mental turmoil of that is crazy. But at the same time, it becomes your new reality. Like Ellie, you remember in Ellie and Last of Us? We're like, yeah, we're gonna send you back to solitary, and she's like, fine, it is what it is. I prefer it anyway, because they sent her there for so long when she was at Hydra School. It's
Yeah. I mean, that was a less extreme case, but yeah, I see.
I know,
what you're
right?
trying to say.
Yeah, we broke down The Last of Us all 9 episodes. Crazy shit. Good show. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Crazy shit. Not afraid of the dark. Perhaps that's part of the problem. These dark clouds, that's my residence. Hops and NF. Lost. Crazy. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Christian, tell him about yeah. Tell him. Okay, never mind.
Wait, what happened? The soundbite?
I was gonna say, oh, tell him about how you interpreted this at first, but I was like, never mind.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll talk about it. So, yeah. Well, I guess first before that, like Sabrina, she touches on the different branches of depression. Hence the title. She's explaining depression. So I'll go through the ones that I've picked up on so far in the poem, and then I'll talk about the others later on. So the first theme I saw of depression, this first branch, is the chaoticness of depression, right? So like shape shifting. So at one moment it's the size of a firefly, and then the next it's the size of a bear. You already touched on this.
Yeah.
And the second theme is being haunted by memories of the past and also the shadows that they leave behind. So this is where I interpreted this part of the poem in a way that was probably not intended. But so when she has this flashback where she's seeing the open casket, because she used the word her, I assume in my mind, I assume that this poem is like her having a conversation with her mother. So when she said she saw the open casket, immediately what comes to mind is like, okay, she's looking at an open casket, aka she's looking at somebody who died, and she uses the word her, and she's talking to her mother. So I just connected these dots and assumed that her mother died. And this poem is like her speaking to her mother who has died. And I think I mentioned in the previous recording that a lot of times when people think in their head, sometimes they color that voice with a certain tone or like a certain person. So like the voice in their head might be the voice of their mentor or the voice of their parent figure or the voice of, or it could be their own voice that's talking to them. So I thought
Mm-hmm.
in her mind, her mother was like speaking. That was the color of the voice in her head. And I thought she was having this back and forth. So that kind of altered how I perceived this flashback because I saw it as she's taking the symbol of hope, which is fire, right? She talked about lighting a candle, and she framed it in a way where through her eyes it becomes a symbol of despair, which is death, because of the open casket. And then because a flickering candle reminds her of what I thought was her mother's casket, this was the first time that it dawned on her that everybody will die eventually because her mother died. And so to distort that symbol uh, of hope in the way that she did is the is an absolute it is the absolute absence of hope. The way she distorted it,
Hmm.
and leading her poem with this touch of nihilism, I thought it set a perfect stage to tell the story of depression. But my whole perception of this got shattered when you told me that her mother is alive. So, like, it changes things. But yeah, initially, that's how I interpreted the poem.
Yeah. No, yeah, also right, I told you to. But basically what I just said, how the casket she's seeing is the old her, the happy her, who's long and far gone. But at the same time, since unfortunately that take didn't make it, we're doing a fit take of all this. I also couldn't. It took me some time to like go against your theory because it makes so much sense. It's just
Right.
the way you saw this made so much sense, Christian, because her mom is dead. So of course the mom is dead. That's the only sign of hope. She's talking to her dead mom who's trying to lighten the mood. Hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Why don't you try this? Like that's the last good light that she's preserving her dead mother's memory. If that was the case, that would have been
Mm-hmm.
fire. No, that's some good plot. I told you there's a Jason Momoa movie on Netflix, Sweet Girl. It's kind of very similar to that. It's just like oof, like when done that way. Yeah, yeah, no, dude, that's it's not correct, but it makes so much sense for you to see it
Right.
that way. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she say her coffin, it's like it might be someone dead that she's talking to. But no, I like that you saw it like that, and it sucks that it's not that. It should be that.
Well, well, thankfully your mom's alive though, so
Actually,
it's
yes,
good.
yes, yes. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. That's true. Mom's alive. But nah, nah, dude. It's yeah. You have all the evidence in that poem to lead you to that hypothesis. It's pretty sick, actually.
Hmm.
Well, it's not an
But I mean,
hypothesis. Those words there. I think that's a
but I
fact.
mean, Sabrina seems seasoned enough and talented enough that when she writes her poems, she's under the awareness that like people will interpret it in different ways. So
Mm,
I don't think I think she knows that it can be interpreted in a variety. I'm sure there's other angles of viewing this poem as well. So
hmm.
yeah, I'm sure Sabrina knows what
Uh,
she's doing. Pretty sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. She did this as a double entendre. It's an Inception kind of stuff. Are they alive?
Hmm.
Are they dead? But crazy. No, but yeah, yeah. I completely understand. I like that. Yeah, your theory makes sense, and there are words in there to
Hmm.
back up how you got to that. All right, let's continue.
All right, here we go.
Anxiety holds me a hostage inside of my house, inside of my head. Mom says, where did anxiety come from? Anxiety is the cousin visiting from out of town depression felt obligated to bring to the party. Mom, I am the party. Only I am a party I don't want to be at. Mom says, why don't you try going to actual parties? See your friends. Sure, I make plans, but I don't want to go. I make plans because I know I should want to go. I know sometimes I would have wanted to go. It's just not that much fun having fun when you don't want to have fun, Mom. You see, Mom, each night, insomnia sweeps me up in his arms, dips me in the kitchen in the small glow of the stove light. Insomnia has this romantic way of making the moon feel like perfect company. Mom says, try counting sheep. But my mind can only count reasons to stay awake, so I go for walks. But my stuttering kneecaps clank like silver spoons held in strong arms with loose wrists. They ring in my ears like clumsy church bells, reminding me I am sleepwalking on an ocean of happiness I cannot baptize myself in. Mom says happy is a decision, but my happy is as hollow as a pin-pricked egg.
God damn it. Okay. Right. Mom is trying, right? Like, yeah, I thought the problem you can't get out of bed, right? Like, Sabrina's like, I can't, Mom. Anxiety holds me hostage. Like, I can't leave. Like, anxiety's in my house. And Mom's like, oh, wait up. Anxiety? What are you talking about? This sounds like an NF song. It's like, where is this coming from? Or is that where are these balloons following you? Where did they come from? Anyway, if you ever listen to The Search, the whole album, it's basically like that, Christian. But yeah, it's like anxiety hold me hostage. Like, wait, where'd that come from? I thought it was only depression. Anxiety is the cousin visiting out of town that depression felt obligated to bring to the party. Like, depression is such a cruel like animal. Like, one might not be enough. Let's bring another one in here. As that angry deity that Rudy mentioned. Like when people ask how I'm doing, like, you need to serve me. So let me bring some more of my constituent to keep you in this state. Like maybe just me enough is not enough. Let's bring anxiety here. Like
And
I'm at a
it's
party.
interesting. It's interesting
Yeah.
too that she used the word obligated.
Yeah.
It's a very specific word choice. Like there's pressure
Yeah.
there.
To
Depression
seal the
felt the
deal.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, she might be slipping. Although from what we're seeing, this is all like fake. If this is what depression is seeing, oh, there's like intro 3 with fear. That's NF. But yeah, it's like this is all fake because homegirl's on the brink of shattering. But depression's like, I don't know. She's talking to her mom. Guys, let's bring someone else. let's
Yeah, and it's like she's also like what's the word? Is it called anthropomorphism? Where like you turn like a concept into like a human to represent the concept. Like in order to explain it, you make it a human. That's what she's doing to depression here.
Damn, I thought that was just personification. I like that.
Maybe it is. I forget the word. Maybe it is personification. I don't remember. But yeah.
Damn. It's speaking of personification, this is my last tangent. One of my favorite poet lines. It's like, how can the burnt forest learn to trust the sun? Like it's crazy. So it's like people with trust issues with the burnt forest. It's been burnt. Like how can they trust the sun?
Ooh, I like that. That's a poem, or is that a quote?
It's on the list. It's on the list actually. It's from Bianca Phipps. When we get the broken Christian, the broken theme, we're gonna get the Bianca Phipps. I hope that's how homegirl's last name is pronounced. I'm not from this country, but yeah, that's. That whole poem's on the just. I can't get into this. Dude, I listen to too many poems, but we're gonna get to them anyway. But yeah, can the burnt forest learn to trust the sun? Yeah, trust issues, Christian. I can't go through it again, but because the sun is warm and it's been burnt and all right, Tiara, control yourself. But yeah, we're back. So yeah, she's at a party that she doesn't want to be at. Why don't you try one actual parties? Bro, it's not fun to have fun when you don't want to have fun. Because this parent, this is a kind of different from parent A that we just saw at RJ Walker. Like mom is actually trying to help. Like I can see her even as a mom, but baby, just go out. Baby, just trying to go to parties. Where anxiety come from, baby? Are you sure? Like do this. Like this is cool. This is cool. I like it so far. It's about to flip, or in my perspective. Yeah. It's like I just like I can't do it. And then she get into these vivid explanations. Insomnia visits me each night, sweeps me up in its arms. It has this romantic way of making the moon feel like perfect company. Like, remember when I said Phil Kay and Neil Hilborn, how poets have this ability to embellish scenes that have no reason to be embellished, like dark scenes, like molar fireworks and eyelid explosions. You're like, oh wow, that's that's a party. Nah, bro, they're dying. The Polish people are killing them. That's Grampy's grandparent and Teeth, like Phil Kay. It's just romantic way of making the moon feel like perfect company. Like Christian, you're an insomniac. You can't fall asleep because you're already depressed. You're anxious with anxiety. Now you can't sleep. That's like triple threat. But it has a way of making the moon feel like perfect company. She's been dealing with this for so long that it's like, you know what? Maybe the moon is my friend because you're staring at the moon, Christian. You can't fall asleep. Hours are going by, which you're draining yourself because lack of sleep is your brain slowly eating itself. But it's just which all falls in play for depression. You're only going to get more down, which will make you more depressed. You'll be wallowing way more. But she's painting this picture in such a almost light tone, this romantic way of making the mood feel like perfect company. Like try counting sheep, but my mind can only count reasons to stay awake. Damn. Because if I go, Christian, if I go in this dark, I might not come back. That's, that's how I'm interpreting this. Someone else might. Yeah, like right. When you heard this, what do you think? But my mind can only count reasons to stay awake.
That
Like,
line specifically.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I took it pretty much at face value, like,
Okay.
because I mean, it's very the choice of wording there is very like it's strong enough to like stand on its own,
Mm.
uh, and I think it's something that a lot of people can resonate with. Like, have you ever
Yes.
been really stressed and you wake up at like 4 a.m. and like the thoughts are just it's kind of uncanny how worse your thoughts can be when you wake up at like 4 a.m. I think that I
Hmm.
don't know if you've ever dealt with that, but a lot of people have. There's like a period in the
Interesting.
night where things are just at it's like things feel awful as soon as you wake up.
Okay.
So I think when
Hmm.
she's counting reasons to stay up, like she's falling within that window of time during the night where it's just your thoughts are just going crazy.
Hmm.
So
Okay. So she says she goes for a walk, Christian, but my stuttering kneecaps can clink like silver spoons, held in strong arms with loose wrists, Christian. I'm dangling. Like I'm not
hmm,
firm. I'm not stable. Strong arms with loose wrists. Oh, and the Thrill of It All album by Sam Smith. He's like, you held my heart in your fingertips. Now I'm drowning in bed bitterness. Versus like fingertips, you're playing with my heart. Like I love peace. I love that whole The Thrill of It All album by Sam Smith. But yeah, it's just like it's not stable. Like I'm basically on the verge of just shattering. Like there's nothing holding me firm. And the same kneecaps, they rang in my ears like clumsy church bells, reminding me I'm sleepwalking on an ocean of happiness that I cannot baptize myself in, Christian. I'm
hmm,
so close to being this happy because mom seemed to think I can get back to this happiness. It is realistic. I can go to parties, I can make friends, but I just cannot. It's not fun to go to a party when you don't want to be at. Anxiety keeps me hostage. So I'm looking at this perfect picture of what I should be doing, of the state, mental and physical state I should be in, but I can't reach it. Like I'm sleepwalking in an ocean of happiness that I cannot baptize myself in. It's so close, I can see it, but I'll never get there because I'm just so sunk in deep into my depression. It's just a mirror, it's a reflection of what I can be. And I can see her dead body in the coffin. I can see her, but I'll never be that. Dude, fucking potent that shit is, man. You know how many people can relate to that shit? Oh, crazy shit, man. Mm. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
All
All right.
right.
If you don't have anything, let's wrap this up.
Okay. Here we go.
My happy is a high fever that will break. Mom says I am so good at making something out of nothing and then flat out asks me if I am afraid of dying. No, I am afraid of living. Mom, I am lonely. I think I learned how when Dad left, how to turn the anger into lonely, the lonely into busy. So when I tell you I've been super busy lately, I mean I've been falling asleep watching SportsCenter on the couch to avoid confronting the empty side of my bed, but my depression always drags me back to my bed until my bones are the forgotten fossils of a skeleton sunken city. My mouth a boneyard of teeth broken from biting down on themselves. The hollow auditorium of my chest swoons with echoes of a heartbeat, but I am a careless tourist here. I will never truly know everywhere I have been. Mom still doesn't understand. Mom, can't you see that neither can I?
Okay. Okay, so so I mentioned the themes earlier, right? At first it was the different themes of depression. So first it was the chaoticness of depression, then it was being haunted by memories of the past and the shadows that they leave behind. And then she transitions into talking about anxiety and antisocialness. And she also touches on insomnia and restlessness, loneliness. And then towards the end, she talks about just the overall desire of like not wanting to live. The pain is so great that I just would rather deal with the death than deal with the life that I have. So even though specifically what she said at the end, how her like she's desperately trying to tell her mother what depression is, but then she admits to the fact that she doesn't really know what it is herself. And even though she took us through her journey of depression with some pretty explicit detail and some pretty vivid imagery, she will never, in her words, truly know where she's been on that journey of depression, which is to say that her journey is one that is so vast, so unknown, and so scary that she cannot accurately explain it to another person. So her explanation to her mother is that her depression can't be explained. It can only be hinted at. So there's irony in the title of her poem, which is pretty cool.
Crazy shit, man. Yeah. So, all right, let me give my take. Well, it's crazy, right? I don't have takes. I just have word for word analysis. it's weird, but yeah. No, actually, I'll give my take when I'm done with this long rant that's coming up. Right. Mom says, right, happy's a decision, which kind of reminded me of RJ's poem when mom's like, you're in this state because you want to be in this state because you have little faith. Why are you doing this to me? Not as rough, not as aggressive, but happy's a decision is a bit harsh. Like mom was doing good until mom said that. And mom says, I'm so good at making something out of nothing. I'm like, okay, like mom, what is going on? Where's the mom that was saying, hey, go to parties? Where did depression, where did anxiety come from? But it is what it is because she really doesn't understand. Like, sure, I guess it is what it is. She says she learned that when dad left, she managed to turn anger into lonely and lonely into busy. So yeah, when she says she's busy, she's very busy. It's interesting how in these two poems, these poets that are going through depression, it's with a single parent. Like dad left here for her, and dad was a drunken, well, dad was an alcoholic for RJ and divorce. Like that's why I divorced myself from him. See, I'm better now. I don't know. As there's no correlation for these two poems at all. These are two different people with their two different lives. They're just telling you dealing with the depression and their mom. But it's almost like this kind of thing is such a dangerous state for a kid that it probably, in my perspective, the more people you have, the stronger your support group to understand you and help you through, the better. Because the burden of this is a long tangent. I was going to say the burden of just being a single parent alone. Like, there's a lot you have to do. You have to be both mom and dad. So I can see how you might brush off your son or daughter telling you they're depressed while you're trying to put food on the table. But that's just a crazy ass stretch. Yeah, I'm digressing heavily here. So yeah, when I say I'm super busy, it means I've been falling asleep watching Sports Center. Like Reagan Meyer's poem, right? She said like she have to watch reruns of like her shows on the bed, like or how Neil said that and how can you be depressed about Aaron Rodgers? He's probably just eating cold food in bed. It's such a popular image when people talk about depression because you just see them and all like lethargic, just lying down in bed, not being able to fall asleep, of course, insomnia, but just watching Sports Center or on the couch to avoid confronting the empty side of my bed. But depression always drags me back. It's an angry deity, a jealous God. Like you cannot be away from my sight. Like I need to consume you fully. If I can't get you, I'm gonna go bring anxiety into this party. Like you need to be in this state forever until my bones are the forgotten fossils of a skeleton sunken city, Christian. The hollow auditorium of my chest swoons with echoes of a heart. I'm just a shell, bro. I no longer exist. Like this disease, this condition is eating me from the inside out. Like my chest echoes of a heartbeat. It's not really in there. Like I'm dead. I'm a sleepwalker. I'm a what's a clicker? I'm a clicker. Clicker's actually fast. That's Last of Us. Shit. Christian, you did this to me, man. You made me watch this show. So you did this to me. Ah, crazy shit, man. It's fucking sad, man. The fact that you know that this shit is happening. I'm a careless tourist here. I'm just wandering around in this body, bro. Like this vessel's not even guided by me. I'm just a passenger. Depression got the wheels. Like for NF said fear got the wheels. Oh, like in the end of intro 3, like he kills fears. He kills fear. He knocks it out in the back of the head. Like my therapist telling me to deal with my therapist telling me to bury my issues. Damn. So he fucking knocked fear in the back of the head. Oh, it's crazy. That's NF intro 3.
That's still one of the craziest songs I've ever heard.
Oh, NF
Just
intro 3,
that,
Eminem, my
the way he did
darling.
that.
Oh.
I'm like, I might go back and listen to that today.
Intro 3 is, oh, dude, you know I love NF. Like, give me depth, bro, and I'm here. Give me some shit that the majority of people can relate, and we all have burdens, bro. But a rapper who doesn't curse, nah, it's insane. Crazy shit. From the same state as Eminem, but not Eminem at all. And we love Marshall Mathers here also. But yeah, and like you mentioned already, right? She can't understand. Just, and mom, bro, I can't understand too. Which to wrap back up to tie into your explanation of it. Overall, man, like this is something that needs to be elucidated way more than it is. People need to, I don't know, see this as the monster that it is. That, I hope that people that are battling depression have someone in their life, like I hope they can, that who's not here to belittle or like misconstrue your depression, which only exacerbates your situation. Like look at what's happening to RJ or even with her. Like having to explain this what you're going through that you can't even explain to another person who doesn't understand doesn't do you any help, any good. But instead, what Neil was saying at the end of how can I be depressed? Ask questions like where does it hurt? Like, how do I make this go away? What's the name of your therapist? Just like we need to be proactive with this shit, man, because there's too many people are battling depression silently that we know, but just because it's such a weird thing to discuss, like they put on a smile, like Rudy said in his poem that we did in part one, fucking carve it out like a pumpkin and just say I'm doing okay. It's fucking crazy shit, man. But yeah, that's it for the depression pit stop.
Well,
What do you have to say, Christian? What else do you have to say?
what's our next theme, Peter? Go ahead.
Even sadder, since we're already on a happy note, terminal illnesses. Great. We will be discussing
Why
Kevin
is this a
Cantor.
theme? Why is
What
this
is
a
the
theme?
theme? Well, Christian, I listen to so many poems that I'm like, you know what? There's I'm like, hey, I put these. Don't worry, we got an erotica theme coming up. Yeah, we're gonna spice things up a little bit. It can be all dark. Yeah, we're about to get pornographic in here. Yo, they gonna cancel this YouTube channel with no views anyway. But yeah, it's
Oh my god.
terminal illnesses. Kevin Cantor, A Letter from Cancer. My God, Christian. And then we're gonna end with the one and only, the guy who we started this journey with, Mr. Phil K. That we did teeth. My grandmother's ballroom. So these are the two poems we're going to do for terminal illnesses. And it's going to be a short stop. There's no part 1, 2, 3. It's just one part.
A quick pit stop.
Yeah,
You
that's
get
a
some
quick pit
gas.
stop.
Refuel
I know,
a
right?
little
That's
bit.
it. Refuel a little bit on our journey to greatness. Yeah, man. Oh, this is shit. Nah, man. I'm thankful. I'm grateful, Christian, you're doing this shit with me. Let's fucking do it. I'm only like what 3 themes in: positive outlook, forgiveness, depression. Yes, there's 3 themes. 3 themes. So, all right, man. Let's yeah. Until next time, folks. And if you're battling depression, I hope you can find some help. Whoever is listening to this, they can relate and listen to Only by NF. Yeah, I guess that's what I can say.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, dude.
All right, I'm going to sleep. Bye.